going to talk and just say you're going to call the meeting to order and ask me to call.
Let me turn it off. Already, people. Hola. Hello. So today is April 21st, 2024. And I would like to call this meeting to order of the Madison Common Council Executive Committee. Karen, please call the roll.
President Figueroa Cole.
Here.
Vice President Duncan. Here. Alder Govindarajan. Here. Alder Conklin.
Do I have to mute?
Yeah, unmute.
Present, and one correction, today is May 21st.
What did I say?
April.
Oh, thank you, May 21st. Thank you.
Alder Martinez Rutherford. Present. Alder Ugair. Here. Alder Harrington McKinney. And Alder Curry.
She's not there.
You have quorum.
Thank you. Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. Is there any discussions about the minutes? Is there any objection to record a unanimous vote? Do I have to? And do I have to present?
I would like to abstain
Oh, okay, perfect.
from that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, abstentions? Okay, so is there any objection for recording unanimous vote? I think we are good with that, except Alder Martinez Rutherford. Okay, thank you.
We're going to want folks to.
Yeah, so let's make sure that we check in so we can hear our voices are recorded. I can find you. Alder Ugary, you have a question?
Since I wasn't here.
Just a minute. You don't have to abstain?
Attorney Haas, perhaps.
Right, I don't think you are required to abstain. It's, I realize it's a new committee, but it's the same committee. And so, we'll need a motion, we'll need a vote to approve the minutes. And so we
Yes.
can't have everybody abstain.
We're going to need, yeah, we'll need a majority.
Which is what? Do we have a majority?
And you don't vote.
So let me repeat the question based on Attorney Haas' feedback. Is there any objection of recording a unanimous vote? Okay, thank you. There you go.
Great, thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So the next item is public comment. Karen, do we have any public comment?
We do not.
We do not have any public comment, so we can go ahead and move to disclosures and recusals. We have on members of the body should make any required disclosures or recusals under the city ethics code. Are there any disclosures or recusals? Don't see anything on the room, and I don't see anything in Zoom. So we can move on with that. So the first item for consideration on the agenda is Legistar number 83517. And the title of that is Alder Budget Engagement Events. Do I have a motion? I don't need a motion because it's a report.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this, we have a report from the council's office and a presentations. Karen, are you able to chair the presentation? And
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, let me share my screen and hope for the best. Okay.
you go.
But now I'm also going to share the slideshow. One moment. Sorry, everyone. Okay, play from beginning. All right. Okay, so we are going to give a brief overview of the Alder Budget Engagement event so far, and talk a little bit more about the structure of the events and the methodology, as well as some initial data that we've gathered so far. So that's the plan. We're going to cover, yeah, I'll basically just said the same thing, so. All right. So here is the basic structure of the meetings for the series. We have an introduction and ground rules. We have a budget outlook presentation from Director Schmidtke. And in it, he focuses on the sort of catching folks up to speed on the basics of the budget challenge that we're facing. And he provides additional information on a number of city services. We also provide some handouts which have additional information on a variety of city services at different agencies. After that, then we have a note card Q&A where the finance director answers questions submitted by participants. From these questions, and I'll get to the data in a few slides, if people left their email address on their card, we're reaching back out to them to provide them with an answer to their question. It's a little slow going, as you'll see when I get to the data, you'll see the volume we've got. But we're working on that. We're also working on an FAQ from the major categories of questions that we're receiving. And then all that will be provided to the alders as well for their review and reflection. Then the next piece of the event, we do the small group discussions. And in a couple slides, I'll talk more about that methodology. But it's a series of questions that you then will talk about your thoughts about services, your vision for Madison, and provide all feedback that you want your alders to consider. At the end of the meeting, we have a brief time for any kind of debriefing highlights from the small group discussions and for alders to share any reflections or words of wisdom before we end. Kids are welcome. We have a kids table, and if anyone needs accommodations, then this is the information. Please contact the council office at least 3 business days in advance, and we will help you out. Okay, so let me talk a bit about the goals for the format and also the methodology, because there is a method to it all. So high level, we want folks to be educated about the situation and the problem, kind of on a little familiarization. We want there to be an opportunity to have clarifications, which is what the note card Q&A does. We want to gather as much input as we can within this time-limited, pretty concise 2-hour period. And we want to encourage folks to stay engaged because, of course, these events are just the beginning of a long conversation. And so we want to encourage folks to keep going with that. So the methodology behind the events and also kind of what underpins the small group discussions is something called the World Cafe method. You can see, if you go to theworldcafe.com, you can find out more about that. And it has 7 basic principles. Set the context. So in this case, we have to, help people get familiarized with a complex and some, difficult to understand situation, right? Then we want to create a hospitable space, encourage everyone's contribution. So, seeking all participation in a small group setting, equitably being in community together, a collaborative and supportive atmosphere is what we're going for here. Explore the questions that matter and share collective discoveries. And so you'll be and I'll show you some more information about the questions, but, discussing the cost of basic services, understanding what you and others value in your neighborhood and your city. Focus on questions based on facts and shared knowledge, again, so that you can provide feedback to your alder, and then connect diverse perspectives and listen together for patterns and insights. Actively listening to how the budget impacts each other in the small groups, and you note your reflections on large paper, which we then transcribe. So this is this quote, I think, sums up a bit of why the World Cafe methodology is important and I think inspiring, which I think we need in this day and age and with topics, tough topics like, for example, budget challenges. So I can just read that the World Cafe is built on the assumption that people already have within them the wisdom and creativity to confront even the most difficult challenges, that the answers we need are available to us, and that we're wiser together than we are alone. So that is part of why the methodology, why the structure that we developed. Okay, so then I want to talk a little bit about some of the data that we found. We've done 2 events so far, and we had 101 sign-ins at the East Side event and 97 sign-ins, though we're thinking it's more a little close to 110. We're working on the sign-ins now. West Side sign-ins. And you can see here the district distribution on the east side. We're still working on the district distribution on the west side, so we don't have that quite yet. So you all can find your districts and see how you did. I think District 3 and 16 are tied for the most folks showing up at the East Side event. We also had a number of Chinese language speakers at both the East Side and the West Side event, which was also something that we were excited about. The number of, okay, so yeah, so that's being calculated. And then, so we collected questions and comments on the budget on the note cards. And to just give you a sense of the amount of feedback just in that portion that we were able to collect in a very short period of time, we got 103 comments and questions on the budget at the East Side event and 181 comments and questions on the budget at the West Side event, which is really exciting. They're all being transcribed, and Isaac, our legislative analyst, is putting them into categories. He's got basically 8 general categories that he's working with right now and putting them all into. So that's actually one of the things that I'm really excited about with this structure is how much feedback, how many pieces of information, how many different people's perspectives and ideas we were able to get in a relatively short period of time, a 2-hour period of time. So for the small group discussions on the east side, so you can see each of the questions that we asked, and you can see there how many notes we got on each question. So each group got the big pieces of paper and a number of markers, and folks could write their notes, didn't have to be full sentences, anything that they wanted us to know, to consider about each of these questions. Those are all also, like I said, being transcribed and added to everything for the alders to view. Unfortunately, on the west side, we weren't able to do the small group discussion, so we don't have any data on that. We do have a number of general comments on the large paper that we were able to collect, and we will be transcribing that and providing that to you as well. And then just a reminder, here is what we've got for the upcoming events. South Side, we've got a new location. Given all the excitement, we are looking for larger locations. Central, it's hybrid, so that's an opportunity for folks to join virtually as well. North Side is at Blackhawk, Middle School. Registration online is requested and encouraged. It helps us get a better head count and also for food and other types of things. It's valuable for us. Also, being able to request accommodations in language interpretation. And so that is basically it for me, and then I'll hand it over to President Figueroa Cole to see if she would like to share any thoughts as well.
Yes, but before I go into that, I kind of want to hear from the members, but
Madam President, I'm not hearing audio virtually.
oops, thank you. I did not push the button. So I'm just making sure that if we have registrants at this moment.
I'm not getting any.
Okay, good. No. So again, thank you, Karen, for the presentation, for putting that that data set together and for centering us on what we are trying to accomplish with these community engagement meetings. I think from the beginning, we have been planning this for months now, and we have been doing this in a collaborative spirit with elders, with staff, with the mayor's office, and to ensure that that we are centered on one thing, equity. We want to make sure that people that come to these meetings, their time is valued, and they have the opportunity to participate just as well as someone that is comfortable coming into the microphone. We have a lot of people that is not comfortable doing that, and we really, really we are trying to be so intentional to reach those voices. So the city budget is a very complex issue. Does not equal our home budgets. So there's a lot of information packed on these sessions, and we want to ensure that if people still have questions after Dave does his presentation, we can actually address them on a one-to-one sessions. We do have a lot of staff volunteering for these events, so we want to ensure that their time is also valued and they're so eager to be there. And we have representation at both meetings from almost every agency on the city. So with that said, if you guys have any additional comments, concerns, questions, we can address them here today. But that's, again, thank you for putting the presentation together. Any questions from the body? Alder Harrington McKinney.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I want to speak on the West Side specifically because I did alter the presentation, and for two reasons. One, it should have been just budget. It should not have been community conversations. It was wrapped into, it was two separate events wrapped into one. And so with community conversations, we do encourage our constituents to have voice. That's the first thing. And then the second reason is that the room for the West Side, and first of all, Karen, thank you so very much for the efforts because you did a lot of behind the scenes shifting, and I really applaud you and your staff for making it work. The room was too small. It was not conducive to the tabling. People were cramped. Staff were not able to sit down, and the room was very congested. The order in the room just seemed to be pushed together. And so, and the reason that I stepped in and changed the format is that it was part of community conversation. And in community conversation, and I absolutely have used the cafe before, and I absolutely know the intent, and I absolutely know that it works. For what I saw and felt for the session on Thursday, the tables, the chairs, the tightness of the room just did not fit that, and it made me feel, it felt uncomfortable. And so going forward, whatever that format is, absolutely follow that format, but it should be budget sessions. It should not have been community conversations, because that altered it in what I was looking at in terms of community conversations. So I needed to put that in the space.
Thank you, Alder McKinney. Oops. Alder Miazzi, you have a comment?
Yes, I just wanted to see what time frame Karen might have in order to have all the questions that was talked about by the residents in order to plan for my upcoming budget meeting on the north side. So I just wanted to get an idea so I could start preparing.
Karen?
Yes, we're working, Isaac and I are working pretty hard on that. So yours, I believe, is on June 5th. And so we'll have at least a partial list for you. I think we're probably going to have quite a bit of volume between the 29th and the 30th, but we'll be able to definitely get you something before your meeting. Same with the folks on the 29th and the 30th. We'll get you what we can before your meeting as well.
Do you have a time frame? It doesn't have to be the whole list, just anything you can probably, I don't know, this Friday, just anything you have so I could be able to prepare and to have an idea of what residents want to hear. Just seeing if you had a time date.
Yeah, we'll do what we can to get you something for sure by Friday, something. If you understand that it might be partial.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. And thank you so much for all that you have done to help us get residents to know about the upcoming budget here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Alder Uguri?
Yeah, I want to express my appreciation to Alder Harrison McKinney for stepping in a difficult situation. I think we would have all benefited if we could have gone forward with the intended format, but I think it was the best we could do under that circumstance. Talking to people afterwards and in ensuing days, just surprised how much of the really important information that Mr. Schmidt was providing it didn't register. So I think we're going to have to go through some repetition here. I think in particular, once in these conversations, I had the opportunity to share some of what will happen going forward, particularly the kinds of messaging that we will be able to do once we have more input from departments on contingent budget and the impact on specific services and what we might have to expect. It will be, I think, easier for residents to appreciate the kind of decisions we have to make and be able to give us more suitable information on how to prioritize what we do for that contingent budget. I think that the other thing is that, just as you said earlier, President Figueroa Cole, that it's a strenuous effort to try to get a broad-based input. What I saw there at the West Area meeting were a lot of familiar faces from the West Area Plan. Some of the more, we'll just call it eloquent voices and so forth. I think there were people who would have liked to share their opinion but didn't have the opportunity to do so. And I think it's just a challenge to go out. I know just in District 19, there's a great deal of diversity that was not apparent at that meeting. And I'm certainly trying to think about how we might make better contact with those voices to hear what their priorities are, particularly when we get to some key services. So I'm not sure exactly what to do with that yet, but those were some takeaways for me from that meeting. I hope we'll learn a lot more from the North Side and South Side meetings too. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Any other comments or feedback? So I want to add I'm sorry. Do I have some? Curry. Oh, Alder Carey, go ahead. Hold on.
Sorry for throwing you off.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I think my internet's okay. I just wanted to share a comment because I've been at both of the events now, the East Side one and the West. And in regards of the World Cafe, I really appreciate the intention that was put into the slide and explanation. Because I did feel that we had conversations at the table and even got some feedback, again, from different side of the city, but residents saying that the presentation, a little long, then to have the break, and then to come back and have conversation based on like kind of processing the information that was given in the presentation, and even as folks were thinking about their questions. So I just wanted to say that I really appreciated that, and at least from the East Side, there was some positive reinforcement and feedback about that, the conversation piece of the World Cafe. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Curry. Nobody else in the queue. So again, I just want to reference a comment made by Alder Uguri. This has been a very intense and collaborative effort. So we have been partnering with people from the Civil Rights Office to help us with navigation. So anything that you or any other alder, if you need the support to get to those voices that we're trying to bring to the table, please reach out to Karen, and we will make sure that we communicate that to the navigators so they can help us access those communities. But other than that, again, thank you, Karen, and everyone. I mean, and I really want to say thank you to the staff people, especially the ones that volunteered to come and spend the afternoon with us on this. It has been I'm very grateful to see them coming to support us. So with that, Alder Curry, you have anything else? Your hand's still up.
I think that was from last time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. So I think this is just an informational item, so we can go ahead and move to the third item on the agenda, which is Legistar number, I'm sorry, Karen, can we make sure that the presentation is loaded to Legistar? Thank you. So Legistar number 83516, Alder Committee Updates. So this, I'm just gonna go ahead and explain what this means to everybody. Last year, I think it was, we had the transformation of the Transportation Committee where two committees were combined together, and the new ordinance had this intentionality of having people crossing through committees so they are related to transportation, like the Board of Public Works and Plan Commission, to have people on both of these, on multiple of these committees, so they can stay in tune and avoid silos. So I thought that it would be, we can put this to a test, but this is an item that I have on the agenda for recurring. So I thought that we can do something similar and take the opportunity here, since we have a number of alders with a large number of committees that we participate in, to have an opportunity here to share with our community items that are coming up on the agendas. I'm not looking for items that we're going to discuss in half an hour. Those are too late already. I don't want to use our time to discuss things that are going to be discussed in the council chambers, but anything that you know that as a committee member, you know that will be coming down the pipe. So since I didn't have time to go and talk to all of you and explain this, I'm explaining it to you guys now, taking your questions, but I already prepped at least one person to help us get us kicked off. So let's just start with, do you have any questions about what I'm trying to accomplish here? Any questions? Raise your hands and let me know. Okay. Alder Harrington McKinney. Hold on.
And thank you very much. I think it's an excellent idea. And I had a very insightful conversation with the forestry staff. He is excellent. And so when I pulled an item off of the consent agenda at the last meeting, and the mayor was able to step through the process of the grant and the term of getting diversity within forestry, and it absolutely made sense. And I would hope that this gentleman will be added to the agenda for him. He's very insightful, and he is looking at providing pathways for a profession that is mostly white and mostly men. And so it is very good. And so I'm very pleased that you're adding this to the agenda. And I don't know where he falls in your sequence of things, but if he can be moved up, I would be very appreciative of that. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I see that as if I may add to that, when we have policies that are built in committees, it's an opportunity for others to get that training before it gets to the public. So that's how I kind of envision that we are part of continuing education type of thing. But for now, just like getting ahead of, getting heads up to the people, these items are coming. I think it's a positive thing for everybody. Alder Conklin.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to be clear. So next time we meet, you're looking for us to kind of bring stuff forward or things that we should keep an eye on from our other committees. Is that correct?
That is correct. Not things that we're going to discuss in half hour, but things that are
Right.
coming up in future agendas coming down the pipe.
And so I'm wondering too, if this is going to have like a play with committees that we may or may not be getting rid of, like if the committee is not bringing anything forward to us, is that going to help us evaluate what committees could come or go?
That's a possibility, that to understand there's some things that are born in committees and stay in committees, and we don't really find out until, because they never come to us. So it should help us on that, making those determinations, or be part of the determination of what committees need to be merged or reevaluated, for sure.
Okay, good. Thank you. I just want to make sure that that's still
No, that's still a
being looked
topic
at.
for sure.
Right,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. So with that, I don't see anybody else in the queue. I will pass it on to my test case here. Alder Duncan. Thank you, Vice President Duncan, for helping me out.
Thank you, President. So I'll be the guinea pig here. With Plan Commission, we are meeting on June 10th, and just to highlight three matters that are going to be coming before us. The first one, it is Legislar 82942, 82943, and 82976. It's the 755 Braxton Place demolition permit that will be allowing the demolition of the 10-story, demolished 10-story, then there's a 164-unit apartment building to be constructed, a 5-story interconnected apartment building containing 344 units. I believe that is the Essen House area. That one is coming to Plan Commission on June 10th. Also, I know we've been getting a couple emails about this next one. There is not a Legistar number yet, but it is at the 205 South Stoughton Road, and it's for the construction of tiny house village containing 22 tiny houses. That one will also be coming. And then another one that I believe we've also been getting information on is Legistar 82940, 82972, 82979 at 6610 through 6706 Ode Sock Road. It's a demolition permit to demolish 2 single-family residences and a 2-family resident to construct 3 stories that will have a 138-unit apartment building on one lot. So those 3 are coming to Plan Commission at our next meeting.
Wow. Okay. So, Plan Commission is always very busy, but those are the things that I feel like are going to generate public interest, and the interest shouldn't generate the day of the council meeting. We had the opportunity to learn about those things and to educate people that those things are coming, maybe share that in our blogs or whatever. But that's kind of what we're looking for this particular agenda item that will be on the agenda, continuously. Alder Govinda Charan, did I say that right? Or MGR, I don't know.
You're good, thank you.
I'm going to practice.
Thank you for that explanation. I guess one thing that I'm a little bit confused about now is not all the committees have like a look ahead, if that makes sense. Like Transportation Commission is something that I serve on. I don't know what's officially going to be on that agenda until that agenda is released, like that couple days before the meeting takes place. So will this be applicable are there like other ways I should be looking at to find out that information?
Yes, actually. So if you look at the agenda, the council agenda, it tells you the referral dates of any item there. So you can actually get ahead of the game, even if you don't have a list, and you can have an estimated date on when the item is going back to your committees. Yeah. And Karen has something else.
I have good news on that front, actually. You may have noticed Isaac has been sending out soon after each council meeting date a list of new business items that include the referrals in that list. So that gives you a kind of
look into the future,
Yeah,
yeah.
that you'll be able to use as well for this purpose.
Yep. I mean, again, I see this as a part of not only communicating the information to our community, but as a training, like, for example, the information like that is on the agenda, and then Isaac is also trying to help us. So, yeah, just a continued education here at council business, I guess. Anything else? Okay, I don't see anybody else on the queue. So, and again, this is not like a mandatory thing, but I really, really encourage all of us to participate on sharing that information, right? So we can take turns and do that, or just really help us get the word out. Alrighty, so the next item in our agenda is item 81-382, council office updates for 2024. So Karen, go ahead and take it up.
Sorry, I seem to have lost where I put it. One moment. Okay. So and for those of you who are in the room, it should be at your table, at your place, and also for those of you who are virtual, I also sent it out in an email. So let me bring this up real quick. All right. Okay, so as always, we're back to it. We've got announcements of staff out of office for you to peruse and plan ahead in case you need anything from any of those folks. I added a little section where I can let you know about some of the things that we're doing, kind of special focus things that we're doing, and in this case, of course, it's the budget engagement events and working on the materials that are coming out of that. Have some reminders if you're going out of the country. You can contact me or right away yourself put in an IT ticket, but they need to know so that they can give you temporary authorization to access your city accounts abroad. If you're planning to attend virtually, of course, let us know council meetings virtually, because Debbie, when she's setting up, she can then she'll set up appropriately. And then, of course, another reminder that we do have the employee assistance program available to us, including you all. And I recommend that you reach out to Arlene Gonzalez, if you have any questions or access the service. It's a great service to use. Now, I just wanted to highlight a couple of city training opportunities. All right, and I really want folks to consider going to them. And then I want to hear about it, because I want to know how it went and whether you think that this would be something maybe, for example, to do as a special Alder session, for example, involving people in the decisions that impact them, conflict de-escalation, and plain language and effective communication. I want to put in an extra plug for the plain language, because I think that sometimes we struggle to communicate both simply and effectively. I think sometimes complex people, how do I say it? Like, people feel like complex ideas can only be communicated in complex ways. That's actually not the case. But it is an art. It's actually quite challenging to do effective plain language, but I recommend it. For example, with your blogs or any communication that you have with constituents, it's a really good to make sure that you're capturing a very wide audience of folks. And so I do recommend, if you are able to check that out. So those are just there for your reference. And then I'll answer any questions if anyone has any questions about anything else going on in the office.
Any questions from the body? Okay, I see no questions. I was trying to go through my emails, and I will probably find it and send it out later, but there was a communication from IT for some support for elders.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak about that?
Yes, absolutely. And I will send up a follow-up on that as well. So Cass Hill is providing you all with drop-in sessions on various aspects of M365 at different times. You see them show up on your calendars in Outlook. And I recommend you use any, just go to town and drop in. Some of them are virtual, some of them are in person, some of them over the noon hour, some before this meeting. She tried to find a number of different times to try to see if, it's of course challenging with Alder's schedules to find some times that work for everyone, but please, please, please drop in. She's also a great resource, so even if you drop in to introduce yourself and to meet her, that's also awesome. And I'll send out a follow-up on that over email as well. Thank you for that reminder.
What's her name again? I'm sorry.
Cass Hill?
Cass Hill. Okay. So yeah, the emails came from her, and they are in a format of a meeting request. So you can sign up for that, or whichever meetings you want to, you're able to attend. Alrighty, so let me look at the screens again. Thank you, Karen, for the updates. So for future agenda items, again, if we have specific items that you want to email us about, go ahead. And I am trying to plug in the calendar ahead of time so we don't have to be scrambling for things. So if you have any suggestions, bring them our way. I use some of the suggestions that people sent in during the ask for being a participant on leadership. So some of those things are listed there. I will be sharing that broader calendar at a later time. But today, this agenda item 78-125 is just to let you know, please email me and Karen to add anything of interest that is related to CCEC business, training opportunities or some sort of material opportunities. So with that said, unless do you have any questions about agenda item 78-126, future agenda items? Okay, I don't see any hands, so that takes us into adjournment. Do I have a motion? I have a second. Thank you. Dina. Mrs. Martinez over there. Martinez. I got you. Okay, so this meeting is adjourned. Oh, can we, is there a an objection on recording unanimous vote for adjournment? Okay, good, perfect. So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.